her voice ringing in the chilly air as she told him the latest stories about her brothers and sisters. He smiled, happy to hear her chatter, just content to be doing anything other than thinking about how he was now all alone. After they'd skated along the perimeter of the pond twice, she teased him again. "Bet you can't catch me now, Aden," she cried as she sped forward, racing across the middle of the pond, looking beautiful and ethereal. Right until the moment he heard a sharp crack and watched her fall through the ice. His heart froze. "Christina?" he called out, skating around the edge until he got to where she was. Her head popped up. She gasped. Her skin was already blue. Her eyes panicked. Before he even considered the best plan of action, he jumped in. The water was jarringly cold, though the temperature barely registered. All he felt was her body as he cupped his hands under her arms and pushed her upward. "Please, God, please, God, please, God," he repeated to himself as they broke the surface. And the Lord must have heard him, because he gave Aden the strength to push Christina out of the water and onto the ice. Then the Lord gave Aden the strength to pull himself out, using an overhanging branch for support. A branch that he hadn't noticed before. Seconds later, they were on the bank and he was throwing his blessedly dry coat over her body and breathing life into her mouth. Wonder of wonders, she finally gasped, inhaled, coughed, and then brought up what had to be a quart of pond water. Her eyes opened. Don't talk." He pressed his lips to her forehead. "Shh," he added as he yanked off both their skates, shrugged her into his coat, picked her up, and ran to her house, the whole time praying like he never had before. "Please, please, please," he murmured over and over again as he ran barefoot through the frozen fields, across the front yard, and up the front walkway to her house. Her parents must have seen him coming because they were already running to meet him, taking her from his arms and rushing her upstairs to a hot bath. The moment she was out of sight, he knelt on their spotless kitchen floor and prayed. He prayed until his voice was hoarse and his throat was sore. Until Mrs. Kempf came downstairs and announced that Christina was going to be just fine, but that he needed to change out of his wet clothes right quick or he was going to get sick. Her warnings hardly mattered to him, however. His prayers had already been answered. Chapter 1. January 3rd was without a doubt his least favorite day of the year. For the last 10 years, Aden Reese braced himself before he walked downstairs. Sometimes he had to stop halfway down, take a few deep breaths, and remind himself that the family meant well. Then he would finally school his features into a twisted combination of pleasure and surprise when he approached the family gathered around the table. This year, unfortunately, was no different. "Aden, at last you are here," Martha Kempf exclaimed as she rushed to his side and promptly threw her arms around him. "We were beginning to wonder if you were ever going to come downstairs." After the slightest hesitation, he hugged his adoptive mother back and forced himself to smile. "I'm sorry. I guess I'm a lazybones today." Martha patted his cheek. "This is your day, Aden. You can be anything you want," she added as she pulled out his chair. "Now sit." As he sat, he smiled at the family surrounding him. Joe, his adoptive father, looked right back, his eyes moist, just as they always did on this day. Beside Joe, 12-year-old Liana looked at him in that bashful way she always did. Treva gazed with her usual somber expression. The boys, Nate and Henry, eyed him with a combination of respect and awe. And Christina? Only Christina looked a bit amused, as if she were the only one who had the slightest inkling that he hated being the reason for so much fuss. In the middle of the table lay all his favorites: sausage and bacon, scrambled eggs and waffles, a pecan coffee cake, orange slush, and canned peaches. It went without saying that Martha and the girls had been up for hours preparing the feast. The lump that was lodged in his throat now threatened to choke him. Because they were all waiting, he said the same thing he always did every January 3rd. "Danke for this fine meal, but truly there was no need to go to such fuss."